Welcome back to What If I Told You, the channel where I will give people tips, tricks, and surprising facts in regards to the food delivery business and operating as a delivery driver for either Uber Eats or DoorDash. So, what if I told you that there are other reasons to reject an offer that I forgot to mention yesterday? Now, there's a previous episode there with all the reasons to decline an offer that have nothing to do with the mileage and the dollars and cents aspect of it. There are four more that I remembered from my experiences here, and I'm going to share them with you here real quick. They fall into four different categories: parking, construction, navigation, okay, I forgot the fourth already. Sorry. So we'll go with parking, construction, and navigation. The parking one is self-explanatory. We have restaurants here which are so busy. We have a American diner type of place, and this also applies to Culver's, where their parking lot can be overly full, which results in you walking several hundred yards, if not blocks, to the pickup. Now, where this becomes difficult, particularly in the case of Culver's, is in the wintertime. You can have the hot bag, and the quality of your food is still going to go down on the way to your car, especially when it's minus 20 outside. Well, the fourth one is reception, by the way. So that's parking. You don't want to be having to be forced to be parked an extraordinary distance from the restaurant for the sake of food freshness, which could lower your ratings, depending on the type of order being picked up and the specific season and weather involved. So that is parking. Construction is another one, and this is worse on DoorDash than it is on Uber. We have a road construction right now on a major arterial on the south side of Forest Lake, and this affects pickup distances and the amount of time it's going to take you to get to certain places. There's a residential neighborhood on the south side of this road. There's also a common pizza pickup location in the middle of this stretch of road. To reach it, you have to take back roads through a neighborhood from different arterials that are nearby to reach this particular place, because the main drag is closed, and it will be throughout the entire summer. Now, if it's a very, very high-paying order, I don't even think twice about it. I'll still take it. But if it's your typical mileage and distance and dollar amount, I have to consider that, there's going to be extra time and there's going to be extra miles expended to reach this place or to even get to a drop-off in that specific area. These are things I got to think about and run through my head as these offers come in, because, as you know, they only give us about 15 seconds to whether decline or accept. And sometimes in the middle of me thinking through all this stuff, it'll time out on its own. Well, no big deal. If it's that close of a decision, I probably didn't want it anyway. So that is construction. Navigation is another one. And navigation is, again, worse on DoorDash than on Uber Eats, because DoorDash uses Google Maps, uses its own. Now, where navigation really comes in to play here are mobile home parks. As you probably know by now, the numbering of units in mobile home parks is not always the simplest. And they don't fit that within the navigation tools of Google Maps or Uber Nav. So you could wind up spending extra time trying to get to a drop point. Some mobile home parks, of course, are worse than others. You kind of have to finagle around with it a little bit, but there are certain mobile home parks that I do decline, because I know I'm not going to necessarily be able to find the unit. They're not numbered in a very neat way. They're very confusing. Even the residents there will admit to you, and they have admitted to me, that it's confusing as heck. And It's not a good setup at all. So if you want to save your time, I would decline these orders again, but not because of the people inside of these parks. Some of the people inside of these parks can be very, very good customers, and they can be very empathetic towards your situation, but it's just the amount of time that you got to waste figuring out without basically flying blind and trying to count the numbers, the unit numbers, the trailer numbers on these. So that's one big part of the navigation component on this. So you got parking, we've got navigation, and now we've got the last one is reception. I'm talking about cell reception here, folks. In a semi-rural market, you really got to watch this one. We have an entire, technically a city with a city government, but it's not really. It's definitely rural or very fringe suburban. That is Columbus, Minnesota. It's to our immediate west. This area has some of the worst cell reception that we've ever seen, and their own residents will admit that to you too. The reason why you don't want to take these is pretty critical, because the apps will depend on you being able to take a picture of your order, send that in to document your drop. Now, if you can't get a reception, you can't get a picture in. If you can't get a picture in, you also can't get. It also doesn't know your location where you're actually dropping and ending the trip at. You can't get the picture in because the reception has your app basically frozen, and it won't send it. Now, once you get it done somehow, no matter how much time it takes, or if you have to do it away from the location, you have to drive to a different place, and they say that you didn't have good reception per se. That's not going to save you. The problem in this case is that you can get a contract violation for either taking too long or technically dropping in the wrong place, although you were in the right place. But the app does not pick this up because of Verizon. Verizon's the worst in Columbus, for example. If you have bad cell reception, you cannot conduct an accurate and correct drop. And if you can't do that, you can get a contract violation. If you get enough contract violations, you can get kicked off the platform. So cell reception could doom your position as a DoorDash or Uber driver. It just can. I've received a contract violation for this, and I simply decided I'm not doing any drop-offs in Columbus again for this reason. So that's the reception reason why I decline certain orders. The location. The other types of reception locations to refuse are large apartment buildings. Forest Lake does not have many, but it has a couple. And these large buildings don't have good reception at all inside of them. You can run into the same problem and get a contract violation because it didn't pick up your picture. You were not able to get it through because your reception was not in existence inside of this building. Same problem, different locale, but it's the same crap reception. You want to make sure that your cell phone reception is going to be solid wherever you pick up and wherever you drop off. Believe it or not, the Papa John's in Forest Lake has terrible cell reception in the immediate vicinity of the building. Not their fault, by the way. However, there is a White Castle across the parking lot, and I am able to tap into their Wi-Fi from across the parking lot in order to be able to accurately take a picture of my pizza bag, which is another thing. You have to take a picture of your pizza bag when you're picking up to make sure that they know that you have it. But by me being able to tap into the White Castle Wi-Fi, I can get this picture in to DoorDash or UE. So in this case, I have a workaround for the reception problem. But if you don't have a workaround for the reception problem in a pickup spot that you go to on a regular basis, I start refusing them all. And again, this doesn't reflect bad on the restaurant. this just reflects bad on your cell carrier in your particular area. And in this particular area, Verizon sucks. I don't have any other way to put it. Verizon sucks. So anyhow, that's it for this episode. We'll see you next time. Again, those are more reasons. And I'll tag Pedro on this too. Just let me know if there's anything else I possibly have missed. You too as well. Drop it in the comments below. I'll see you next time, and peace out, homies.